I think we're here.
Are we alive?
Maybe.
Is this real life? Can you hear us in YouTube land? If you can hear us, give us a 1.
Boom. There we are.
Any ones in the chat?
Oh, they said, I hear people. Who said that? Shanna said that. Yep. They got us.
Yeah?
How's it going, people?
Hey, all right. You can start saying hi to people if you want.
We got Oklahoma Outlaw Audits, Lonnie K, Dan, and first from Puerto Rico, Shanna P. Law Nerd. How's it going, everybody? Mike Davis.
Hey. Welcome.
Wake up, America, and resist. That's a good name.
Yeah.
All right. 1 second. All right.
Little people.
I'm going to take our lovely picture off here. All right.
What's up?
Got some updates for them.
Yes, updates. What's going on with the vet center issue? Few updates to share with you. You want to take it? No?
No. I'm running support.
You're running the tech? Okay. All right. So September Sims, September Ann Sims is still currently employed and working at the vet center for Bay County, Florida, as of today. This is from a reliable source that we got. And we also found out that the Bay County Vet Center is no longer offering services at their normal location, the location that I visited those 2 times. Instead, they have moved locations to one of the VHA clinics in Panama City Beach. And the reason given was due to calls or excessive calls or something of that nature to the call line, the Veteran Center or Vet Center National Call Line. So if you check the description of the videos, you'll have the Bay County Vet Center number. But when I've tried calling that to find out about appointments or to find out if September Sims is still working there, it went straight to the National Call Line in Colorado. So if you do call that number, it's probably going to get forwarded to Colorado because they're not there. They're not answering that phone. But they are, I guess, still offering services, maybe somewhere at another place.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What else we got?
Friends of Code. Hi.
Hey, what's up, Friends of Code?
I just read Tutor Rob said, I went to my local vet center to see if they could assist me with filling the records request, and the receptionist didn't even know where the record request forms were. They can write that on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't know how to do those things, I guess.
Okay. And then the other update I guess we have is we got this tip in the YouTube comments.
I can
pull it up.
Yeah, I'll just share what I got. We took a screenshot so we wouldn't lose it because it's hard to keep up with all the.
So we got a tip in the YouTube comments, and I'll let Mrs. Justice read it.
Share it. Here you go, guys. I'll read it. Don't worry. Bobby Cash says, did y'all know that Mike's followers broke into this lady's house and threatened to kill her? Now, this was on a video about Miss Sims. And so we responded, Mike doesn't have any followers as he doesn't lead people in saying or doing things. Are there any reports of this crime anywhere? Bobby Cash said, at Blind Justice, okay, a bunch of people who say that they follow Mike committed this crime. And yes, there are reports. At Blind Justice says, at Bobby Cash, well, that's horrible. Please send the reports to insightisfree@gmail.com.
Okay, so we haven't had a response yet on that.
No emails.
No email of the report from that person who commented. So we did our own records request with the Panama City Beach Police Department. And we tried to make it match the tip we got there in that comment, we asked for records where September Sims would be the complaining party or the alleged victim, and the alleged crime would be breaking and entering into a domicile and a threat of bodily harm or death. And so that was what we put in the request for. This is what we got back.
Yeah, because it's serious, and
Yeah. Do not condone people doing that.
We don't condone that. Absolutely not. Okay.
In fact, we condemn that behavior.
You guys know that.
This is the response that we got back from the Panama City Police Department.
All right. Let's see here. We have, as you can see, this is the Panama City Beach PD. We got the agent report number 2311056. The primary offense description is harassment.
Harassment is not the same thing as breaking and entering.
Definitely not.
It's not the same thing as death threats.
No.
Right?
No,
or
it's not.
Threat of bodily harm.
Right.
Now, when we got this back, I couldn't read it. I asked for it to be sent to me in OCR compatible format and a readable format, and they converted it for me so I could read it. But Mrs. Justice, when she was looking at it, she saw, what did you see?
I saw, I don't know if you guys can see where these things are redacted here. I saw that this has addresses on it. I redacted those.
So this current version that you have, you actually fixed the redactions,
yes,
right?
Yes, I fixed this. I made these redactions. You guys can, if you guys can see the screen, you can see the big black marks. This is how you redact something in with the PDF viewer. There's an actual redaction tool.
Yeah, but so the version that we got from the police department actually had her home address and phone number.
Yeah, it had that all on there. So I blocked that out because I don't want to put that on here. So we protected that information, as you can tell. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So we have on March 15th, 2023. This is Wednesday at 3:08 p.m.
Yeah.
So middle of the day.
So March 15th is one day after I went back to the vet center and I met with Tim Staebell, the director, and Tim helped me fill out the intake forms. And we happen to have a name here in this report that September Sims gives the Panama City Beach Police. And it's the same name that I gave to Tim Staebell.
Right. So much for...
And she has a duty to protect PII, personal identifying information.
Yeah. So down here, we'll get to, let's see. This is the victim/witness and the complainant are the same person, September A. Sims. All right. It says on 3/15/2023 at about 3:08 p.m., I returned a call left to me by Miss September Sims in reference to harassment. She stated she was the subject of a social media video put out by a Mr. Michael, I redacted the last name, using his social media handle of Blind Justice. She stated Mr. came to her work at the Veterans Affairs Hospital in Panama City, and recordings made by him were going around on the social media application TikTok. She stated her office has been receiving threatening messages from persons who'd viewed the video, and she was concerned for her safety. Mrs. Sims requested her home be placed on extra patrol as she was concerned her personal contact information may be given out and she may be under direct physical threat. She stated she has also started receiving an increase in spam calls, but advised those were being filtered by her phone service. Ms. Sims advised she did not personally see threats against her, advising she doesn't use TikTok. I began viewing the comments. However, at the time of this reporting, they number at about 2,700 comments on the initial video, with 5 other subsequent videos to view and check through. Upon completion of this, I will be filing a supplemental report advising whether or not I was able to locate specific threats to her or her personal contact information being listed. This is Officer Pokipala on March 15th, 2023. All right, there is no body camera footage available for this incident. It's the note here. All right, so apparently he did actually follow up. And on 3/17/2023 at about 3:30 p.m., he says, I have reviewed the comments on the videos I was able to find by Mr. and it had a last name, which is interesting. I don't know where they're getting any of that information.
Right.
How can you?
So he's claiming that the videos on TikTok are mine. I don't have TikTok.
No,
I've
it's
never
not.
used TikTok a day in my life.
Nope.
Yeah. So this guy's, again, he's a officer, Pocapala, Panama City Beach Police. He's taking the word, like he's taking hearsay, right? And he's repeating it in his police report without actually verifying the information, right? But this is what he's writing in his police report. Yeah.
All right. So he went here.
And the name, like he hasn't verified a name as far as we know, right? Like this name that she provided them, which she's not supposed to do. She's supposed to protect personal identifying information.
Yeah. Now he's
as a counselor in general, but then specifically as somebody that works at the VA, there's also a federal regulation and code of ethics that she's supposed to follow in that regard. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right, go ahead.
Because he doesn't even say like allegedly by this person. He just says by Mr. All right. So let's see. I reviewed the comments on the videos I was able to find and am unable to find specific comments containing unlawful threats to Miss Sims' person or any of her personal contact information being shared. I did observe there are multiple comments by multiple different people stating her name and the contact information for her place of employment, as well as comments expressing that she be fired. However, nothing I saw appeared to constitute cyber harassment as defined under Florida Statute 784.048. As such, I'm closing this investigation as unfounded.
Okay.
So that's good. Good job, Paul. I mean, closing the investigation and actually looking at it and saying, oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. But
there's no actual
I would say not a good job, and he didn't thoroughly investigate and didn't confirm or deny whose videos they are, who posted them. Like, but you wouldn't have to, because first you would have to see, is there a crime? And then you would figure out who's committing the crime.
Right.
But he found out there was no crime, so he doesn't figure out who's committing a non-crime.
Yeah. And then somebody pointed out, and then the police shared her personal information.
Right, exactly. And then the police gave it to us, her personal address and phone number. And so we've emailed them, the public records people, say, hey, you might want to redact this better. I've been told that her home address and phone number are there, and you might want to do a better job. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So there's that. So it seems like there's more. She's not done, right? She's obviously reporting a crime, right? I would say a false police report against me. Mm-hmm. And where did she get that information from? Where did she get that personal identifying information? Yeah. Again, the day before is when I went in and gave that same name to her boss. So we don't know. We don't know where she got that information from. Did she get it from her boss? Did she get it from other VA records? We don't know. So,
I don't know.
But we do know that she is a licensed counselor through.
Oh, guys, I can't make this up. Hold on.
What state? Well, let's guess. Let's get some guesses. What state do you think she has her license as a licensed counselor in? Anybody? Any guesses?
Hold on. Any guesses? Hold on.
What state do you think?
They might be behind. We got to give them a second.
Which state do you think September Sims is a licensed mental health counselor? Or what state?
Where did she get her license?
Accrediting board or licensing board did she get her license from?
Friend code says AK. Is that Arkansas? All right. We got Arizona, Florida, New York. First from Puerto Rico said North Carolina. B says North Carolina. Lori says North Carolina. Ding, 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 ding.
I think some people are getting it. There we go.
One moment, please.
Yeah.
Dude. Like what? All right. Can y'all see this? No. Yes. Okay. Cracker Jack box. Oh, well. There's that. Here you go. I'm just going to put this here. September and Sims. Yeah. Right. September and Sims. This is the licensing information details from the North Carolina Board of Licensed Clinical Mental Health Counselors. So this is just public. This is not like a special search. This is just
it's a public website. Yeah. It's a public licensing board.
Right. So you can verify that the person that is claiming to be a counselor, whether they actually are or not, you can check the status of their licensing and things like that.
And then through that same board, you can file a complaint.
Right. So we have the license number 9363. License is active. License standing, no discipline. Issue date was 8/27/2014, and renewal date is 6/30/2024. And then there's a verification document. It's the same information, essentially. I guess if she needs to like print the letter or something. So there's that.
All right. So if you do a complaint, which I'm working on to send into this licensing board, they say that you need to cite, like basically tell them what she did wrong, and then cite their specific code or policy from their code of ethics. And they list 2 different codes of ethics, and so we're going to go through them here shortly. And Mrs. Justice is going to just kind of ping pong around and read you guys some of these areas from the code of ethics as a licensed mental health counselor that we believe Miss Sims may be in violation of or have violated, both on March 7th, 2023, when I visited the vet center, and I guess the 15th when she called the police and released personal identifying information.
Yeah. But I'll read through these so that you can, I won't read the whole, is it ping pong thing? I'll read the points that I think are pertinent here. One second.
Do you need to have the note I sent you?
I have it.
Okay.
All right. So we have the Licensed Clinical Mental Health Counselors Act. This is Article 24. Let's see. You can see 9340. We're going to scroll down here to the protection of the public. One second while it catches up. I don't know why my stuff's being slow tonight. It's a little glitchy. Sorry. One moment, please. All right. All right. A, the board may, in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 150B of the General Statutes, deny, suspend, or revoke licensure, discipline, place on probation, limit practice, or require examination, remediation, or rehabilitation of any person licensed under this article on one or more of the following grounds. So you scroll down to 9. Has been guilty of immoral, dishonorable, unprofessional, or unethical conduct as defined in this subsection or in the current Code of Ethics of the American Counseling Association. However, if any provision of the Code of Ethics is inconsistent and in conflict with the provisions of this article, the provisions of this article shall control. All right, and then 10, has practiced clinical mental health counseling in such a manner as to endanger the welfare of clients. Okay, yeah, calling armed
stripping
people.
a blind man of his auxiliary aid, assistive device, way of navigating the world.
Yeah,
taking
and
notes.
taunting him. It's over there. Yeah. Okay.
That's not safe.
Okay. No, that's not safe. All right. 13. Woo. Has exercised undue influence in such a manner as to exploit the client, patient, student, supervisee, or trainee for the financial or other personal advantage or gratification of the licensed clinical mental health counselor, associate, licensed clinical mental health counselor, or a third party.
What do you think? Do you think she did it for her enjoyment or her benefit? Remember that clip where she walks over, she goes, thanks, and then takes it?
Mm-hmm.
So proudly saying, I have his device.
Yeah. Or the when you ask about what time they close and like, it's on the door. And they're like laughing at you in the back.
Right. Seems like they were getting enjoyment out of exploiting me. Yeah.
That's what I heard. I'll just keep reading and let you guys decide. All right. 13. 14, has harassed or abused sexually or otherwise a client, patient, student, supervisee, or trainee. Harassed, abused. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. All right. 90-341. Scroll down some more. See, I'm not going to read all this, guys. It's fine. All right. Violation, a misdemeanor. Any person violating any provision of this article is guilty of a Class 1 misdemeanor.
Okay.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What the heck, bro?
And there's the last thing too, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't actually read through all these yet. So 90-342 injunction as an additional remedy. Yes. The board may proceed in a superior court to enjoin and restrain any person from violating the prohibitions of this article. The board shall not be required to post bond in connection with such proceedings.
Yeah.
So,
What?
So the board
Mhm.
can press. Well, by this, I guess
they have to go to a court.
Okay.
They're not a court. They're like a governing body for her and her practice in, as a mental health counselor, right? And they can revoke her license. They can suspend her license. They can do a few other things that we listed at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Then they could also bring a charge of a misdemeanor to try to charge her with, or they can go to the courts and have the courts basically put a restraining order on her and restrain her to follow the letter of this this law or this code of ethics, right? So we don't want them to do the misdemeanor thing, right? We don't want them to invoke the violence of the state,
no,
right? To throw her in a cage or anything like that, and we don't want anybody else to cause her any harm, right?
Right.
We want to resolve the matter as peacefully and amicably as possible, right? I've tried to contact them to discuss it. I tried talking to Tim Virgilio, who's the District 2 director today, left a voicemail for him on his phone and talked to somebody in his office. They said he was in a meeting, and she took a note. She took a message for him, and he didn't call me back today. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with regards to her employment from the VA side, but we don't have to wait for them to figure it out. We can go to her licensing board and put a complaint directly with her licensing board, and they can revoke her license, right?
Right.
So then she wouldn't be able to be a counselor at the VA or anywhere without her license.
Because she clearly does not need to be doing that.
Yeah.
No.
So there's other ways, and there's been comments about you're not holding her accountable. There's other ways to hold people accountable than invoking the violence of the state. And we want to show you guys that you don't have to have the state bring forth violence, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can handle it administratively. Mm-hmm. That's one way. And then we can do it. That still doesn't solve the issue of the damages that she's caused to me. So that still needs to happen. Whether it be a conversation with her and me directly, or with a third party mediation,
right?
Or we come to some kind of resolution where she does something to make me whole for the damages that she's caused. And again, that doesn't have to be in a court,
right?
You know?
Right.
So it's really up to her. If she wants to take it to a court, you know, if she refuses to meet with me amicably or with a mediator, then essentially she's picking the court. And she's already trying to pick the violence of the state to be used against me.
Well, she's already tried twice. She's called the cops on you twice.
Right. So she's clearly a person that wants violence and has called for violence to be brought against me directly 2 times. But I'm not going to return violence with violence. I'm not even going to try to press charges to have the state investigate and charge her with a felony or a misdemeanor. Like, you know, and when I do my complaint with her licensing board, I'm going to recommend that they don't charge her with a misdemeanor, but they instead revoke her license so that she cannot treat anybody like this ever again as a counselor, much less a veteran. So that was one of the code of ethics. We have the other code of ethics that we can pull up and read some of those if you want.
Yeah, those of you who are freaking out about the twice. Yeah, she called the one time that you saw, and then you'll have to rewind to the beginning. She called the
day after I did the revisit.
Right.
So I revisited the vet center on the 14th of March. So 1 week after the first visit, I visited and I spoke with her boss, Tim Staebell, and he was pleasant enough. I mean, the door was locked, and you said that there was a sign on the door.
There was a sign on the door that's like summarized, like, we're here, but if you want to be let in, here's a phone number. Yeah. This little piece of paper.
So I didn't know there was a sign on the door.
No.
So I went around and was knocking on the window, and then a few minutes later they finally come out, and he told me that the door was locked because they were short staffed. Well, yeah. I don't know how accurate that is, right? Because we found out today that they are no longer even at that building. They moved locations to another building and into a different city, in the Panama City Beach, at one of the vet clinics that's under the VHA. And the reason that we were told was supposedly because of all the different phone calls they were getting through the National Vet Center hotline. So Yeah, I think putting that together, it would seem that the door was locked initially to keep people out and keep people from redressing their grievances at that location, or keep people from going in and doing records requests, And then then they're not even answering that phone there because nobody's there. That's going straight to the National Call Center in Colorado. So if you do call the vet center and you get somebody from Colorado, then it's the National Call Center, and you can still, redress your grievances.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, but know that you've called the actual vet center and that's where you're being sent. Like you called the right number. Yeah. There's not a different number to get the Bay County Vet Center at this point. Like they're just sending everybody to Colorado, which really sucks.
Right.
For the people in Colorado because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but you can still
messed up.
Lodge your complaint with them.
Yes.
Do so peacefully.
Yeah.
And respectfully, right? Yeah. And then they will take it, and then they will generate a report about what you're complaining about, and it should go to the different supervisors in that chain. But I think we also have the supervisor Tim Virgilio's information for his office.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to contact that office, that number's there
because he's more directly.
Yeah.
The actual supervisor of this area, because the one in Ohio is not even in the same region.
Right.
That's
right.
It's weird, but.
So there are ways of redressing your government more than just taking to the streets and protest or calling the specific place where the offense occurred. You can go a few levels up, and we have a video coming soon. We have assistance with creating another video that is going to be like a tutorial on kind of what the vet center is responsible for in regards to Section 504 and the Americans with Disabilities Act, and who specifically is responsible for enforcing that and compliance with that at all VA facilities. And because we were able to track down the specific assistant secretary of the VA. And so just so you're familiar with like the title or rank or whatever, it's just like, think about SecDef, the Secretary of Defense, right? So there's these different secretaries of the departments of the federal government. So defense would be a department. The Veterans Affairs is a department. So you have the Secretary of Veterans Affairs is the top person. And then under them, they have either undersecretaries or assistant secretaries, right? So we were able to track down the assistant secretary who's over the ORMDI, which is the Office of Resolution Management, Diversity, and Inclusion. And that's the person that's specifically responsible for the implementation, compliance, and enforcement of Section 504 and the Americans with Disabilities Act at all VA facilities. And not just facilities, but services, right? So even if it's not a public-facing facility, but it's a VA hotline or a phone number that you call related to the VA, right? Or the website. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's responsible for accessibility, compliance, and enforcement. What you got?
I'm just shifting. They're asking about the licensing information. I was going to put that on the screen
okay.
again.
Yeah, sure.
While you're chatting.
Yeah, anybody can lodge a complaint if they want. There's another complaint process that I think we have listed in the descriptions through the Health and Human Services Civil Rights Division, and on that one, I think if you look in the descriptions of some of the videos, it has it listed. There's an option for doing a discrimination, like civil rights complaint, and anybody can file that. But it has to be an issue of discrimination that occurred at basically a health department or a place where somebody's receiving health services. So VA Vet Center would be one of those. Public health departments, whether they're state, local, or federal, would also fall into that. So I did one of those for the Vet Center. I'm probably going to do one for the health department in High Point, North Carolina, out of Guilford County, because I think that would fall under that same thing. So there's an option to pick if it's happened within the last 6 months, and I think there's another option to pick if it's happened outside of the last 6 months. So
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, somebody was like lamenting not much hope for North Carolina boards of anything to step in and do.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we're not going to hold our breath, right? There's several options available, and we're trying all these options, right? And all of these are administrative options, right? None of them invoke the violence of the state, invoke sending out armed enforcers to surround her and throw her to the ground or point guns at her or put her in torture cuffs and drag her to the dungeon. Like, those are the options that we do not want to invoke to come after Miss Sims for her crimes, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to go to the next, unless you want to read any comments or anything.
Some people are asking if she has a license in Florida. Does she need a license in Florida? And I think they have like some, what are they called?
It's
I don't know all that.
There's an agreement, yeah, and so the states have different agreements where if you're licensed in one state, I'm guessing that Florida and North Carolina have an agreement so that if you don't have to get licensed in both to practice in both.
Yeah. I know there's like ways that works out. So, all right, let me pull this screen down. All right, so we went over the Licensed Clinical Mental Health Counselors Act together. We can, there's also the Code of Ethics. We can touch a couple of those points.
It's from the ACA, right?
Yes, the ACA Code of Ethics.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're putting a complaint in. Yeah, that's for.
Yeah, you have to list specific violations from either of these two sources for their Code of Ethics.
Thanks, Chris. Reciprocal.
Yep.
States.
Yeah, that's it.
Boom. All right. Okay. 6-minute question. I was just trying to catch up on some comments and things. Oh, wait. We have a super chat.
Okay.
From Dr. Scrolls. The door was locked because government employees are lazy.
Yeah.
Valid statement. Okay. Let's see. Is this on here? Ba-ba-da.
Well, it's so common, like this excuse that they throw out left and right of, we receive threats. Like, well, what is it? What is actually a threat? Because we've done records requests on this in the past. I think we've done videos in the past on these things, right? And showing you guys what government employees claim are a threat, and we actually have recorded calls and we have recorded reports and things of what these supposed threats are. And it's simply people saying, "Hey, I'm pissed off at you, and you tyrants, right?
You need to be fired."
And, like there's some name calling, right? There's some ad hominems. There's people yelling on the phone, but none of that's threats. Nobody's specifically saying, "Hey, I want you to X, Y, or Z," right? Like, or I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. I haven't heard any of that from anybody. For many of the records requests that we've done, anytime that allegation has been brought against the viewers or people from the public for redressing agreements, it's just a catch-all, buzzword they throw around to try to justify them refusing service and shutting down their phone and moving location and then retaliatory acts against people, for simple exercising the First Amendment through redress of grievances.
Good night, Peter. Peter said good night.
Good
night. Dr. Sean Berry says redress, not a threat. Yep. They confuse criticism for threat. Well, and maybe they feel, that criticism is a threat to their position or their job. Well, the way you feel about it is different than what it actually is, right? Your feelings don't dictate reality.
I mean, it may actually be a threat to their job because if they're doing something that is illegal or violates their code of ethics, then they should be removed from their job, right? If they are harming the public and violating the public trust, then they should be removed from their job. And calling for the termination of somebody isn't calling for the extermination of somebody, right? Not calling for their death. We're calling for them to be terminated from their place of employment, right?
Right. Yes, indeed. All right. So where are we? Code A. Yep. All right. A1, client welfare. Let's slide down here on the ACA Code of Ethics. There's a preamble. If you want to go check this out, rock and roll, have fun. We're going to jump to some points. Section A1, client welfare. Primary responsibility, right here. I'll highlight it for you. The primary responsibility of counselors is to respect the dignity, and promote the welfare of clients. Yeah, okay. That's right out the gate. That's very simply stated.
Yeah.
And very, very, I don't even know, just not upheld.
You can watch any number of like
what
3-second clips from that encounter. Like you can probably watch a dozen, examples of her violating just that alone, just from that first encounter, right?
Respect the dignity and promote the welfare of clients. What? Okay. Fail. Yes, perfect. Fail. Okay. Oh, that. Okay. A1B, records and documentation. All right, it's just the next paragraph here. Counselors create, safeguard, and maintain documentation necessary for rendering professional services. Regardless of the medium, counselors include sufficient and timely documentation to facilitate the delivery and continuity of services. Counselors take responsible steps to ensure that documentation accurately reflects client progress and services provided. If amendments are made to records and documentation, counselors take steps to properly note the amendments according to agency or institutional policy.
I think the key part there is the safeguarding of the documentation regardless of the medium, right?
Right. So, create, safeguard, and maintain.
So if at that point all they had was verbal communication with me, right? Mm-hmm. Then that verbal communication about whether it be identity or the services I was there for, right? That should be safeguarded. And again, she has released personal identifying information to the police, at least on one occasion. We're waiting on the body camera footage from the incident to find out if she violated this more or if her coworkers violated this more.
Yeah. That would be, Shanna says section A, multiple exclamation marks. Means it should be upheld above all others.
Right. Right up front. Yeah.
That tracks. All right. Ooh. All right. A2, informed consent in the counseling relationship. I gotta go back up a little bit here. Bloop. Okay. Informed consent, A2A. Bloop. Clients have the freedom to choose whether to enter into or remain in a counseling relationship and need adequate information about the counseling process and counselor. Like their name. Wow. Counselors have an obligation to review in writing and verbally with clients the rights and responsibilities of both counselors and clients. Informed consent is an ongoing part of the counseling process, and counselors appropriately document discussions of informed consent throughout the counseling relationship. Adequate information about the counseling process and the counselor. Yes. So, what's your name?
What is your position? Yeah. She refused to answer those things. She said, it's on my ID card. But she stole my way of reading her ID card. Okay, lady.
A2C. Fail. Oh, yeah. We're marking fails, right, guys? Okay. Development and cultural sensitivity, anything. Counselors communicate information in ways that are both developmentally and culturally appropriate. Counselors use clear and understandable language when discussing issues related to informed consent. When clients have difficulty understanding the language that counselors use.
Wait. Hold on. When counselors have difficulty when clients have difficulty understanding, right? Remember what she said when she called the police? We've got a veteran here.
We have a veteran here who's having trouble paying attention. What?
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder how many times she's called the police on a veteran who's, quote, having trouble paying attention.
Or understanding.
Right, or understanding, or not listening, or having trouble focusing, or having a moment where they're shutting down and trying not to go off because they're having a PTSD situation where they could lose their shit. She's dealing with veterans.
Yeah.
Like, let me just go back to reading. Friends and Code said, failed this one in the first word. Yeah, I tried to get that obligation comment because yeah, they have an obligation. I just clicked wrong. Okay. Where was I ever finished reading that one, right?
No, I stopped you.
Counselors have an obligation to review in writing and verbally with clients. Is that where we are? No,
Yep.
cultural sensitivity. I highlighted it. Sorry, guys. Counselors use clear and understandable language when discussing issues related to informed consent. When clients have difficulty understanding the language that counselors use, counselors provide necessary services. For example, arranging for a qualified interpreter or translator to ensure comprehension by clients.
Like a visual interpreter,
When
maybe?
clients have difficulty understanding the language that counselors use, counselors provide necessary services to ensure comprehension by clients. For example, arranging for a qualified interpreter or translator. But she wouldn't even let you have your own stuff to examine her ID. I should have read this before we came on here. In collaboration with clients, counselors consider cultural implications of informed consent procedures, and where possible, counselors adjust their practices accordingly. So what they're telling me is she's not a counselor. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, yeah, not for long, right? Not when this complaint gets through.
Bro,
and
dude.
they say, okay, yeah, we sustain all of these allegations. You don't need to be canceling anybody, lady.
Okay. Am I being too loud? I got closer to the microphone. I'm sorry if I was being loud. She knows the standards of care. She agreed to do this. Well, that's true. Okay. Okay. A4. Let's go down. Again, what are we reading? The ACA Code of Conduct.
Mhm.
You guys want to look it up yourselves. Rock and roll. We're going to skip down to A4, avoiding harm and imposing values.
Yeah. Let's do these two, and then there's one on non-discrimination. Let's read those, and then there's some more. But we'll put some stuff in the description for you guys to check it out yourself.
A4A, avoiding harm. Counselors act to avoid harming their clients, trainees, and research participants, and to minimize or remedy unavoidable or unanticipated harm, not causing intentional harm.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then calling people with guns to cause more harm.
A4B, personal values. Counselors are aware of and avoid imposing their own values, attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. Counselors respect the diversity of clients, trainees, and research participants, and seek training in areas in which they are at risk of imposing their values into clients, especially when the counselor's values are inconsistent with the client's goals or are discriminatory in nature.
We know about you. We know about you. Right off the bat. Her bias, her belief, her behavior, right?
Oh, Dr. Scrolls said, I think you're missing, it's a super chat. 999 super chat. I think you're missing the component that this engagement, I'm sorry, this is for engagement of services. She was not actively engaged in services with you, and these ethics codes will not be applicable. But I don't.
So there are parts of this in the ACA that talk specifically, and you can find it if you want. I have it in the note that I sent you, where it says that if you're a client or a prospective client. So I had that same thought, and thanks for the super chat earlier. I was like, you know what, this is what the board would probably come back with. However, it specifically says if you're a client or a prospective client. And I clearly, at that time, was a prospective client. Currently now am a client. And as of the time when she called the police on the 15th, was a current client. Right. So yeah. So I appreciate that thought, because I had the same thought earlier when I was going through this, but then I found later through the ACA it talks about you don't have to be currently a client of the counselor, but a prospective client. And not only that, but she I didn't have to be a prospective client of her specifically, because she was acting at the time as the supervisor for the vet center and all the counselors there. Mm-hmm. So, but no, that's a good thought. However, we've got it covered.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Because, yeah, we actually talked about that.
Yeah.
I didn't read all these, but she stole his visual assistive device. Yeah. Did I just close what I was reading? Okay. It's fine. We're fine. All right. We were on personal values. What else did you want to jump to?
The non-discrimination.
Respecting clients' rights, respect for privacy. One moment, please. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of these.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not reading very fast today.
There's a whole handful of them, so we can wrap it up with the non-discrimination one.
Just do a search. Let write it always helps. Okay, this is C5, non-discrimination. Let's scroll, y'all. Oh, there it is. Yeah. E, not that far. All right. I'm still sharing this. I am. Okay, good. C5, non-discrimination. Counselors do not condone or engage in discrimination against prospective or current clients, students, employees, supervisees, or research participants based on age, culture, disability, ethnicity, race, religion, spirituality, gender identity, sexual orientation, marital partnership status, language preference, socioeconomic status, immigration status, or any basis prescribed by law.
There you go. So whether it be, like I told the officer on the scene, whether it be because of my disability or because I share encounters with people in the media, i.e. Mrs. Justice, right? So it's a First Amendment protected activity, and also 14th Amendment and the Americans with Disabilities Act, Section 504, all protected, right? Protected by law. So all of those have it covered. And it's specifically because of the use of my devices that she acted the way she did.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Okay. Yes, but it doesn't say steal blind guy's eyes.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So there you go. I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
You want to go through any other comments with anybody before we do?
Dr. Scroll said 9th Amendment too, I think. I'm just hearing that. Somebody said they're hearing that the new budget will take VA disability away from 20% of active members receiving benefits. Let's say what now? Okay. Post PayPal or Cash App. Oh, there is a PayPal address in the description, and I just opened a Cash App because somebody told me to.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned. We got more updates coming as we get these body camera videos. She'll be going through that.
Yeah.
And we'll be sharing some stuff and see what other ways they were breaking the code of ethics and VA policy. And we'll keep you updated as we hear more from the supervisors. And if we hear anything back from, let's see, we have a complaint in with the Office of Inspector General and with the ORMDI people. Yeah, there's a video. Again, there's going to be a video coming out on that, on who you talk to, how do you talk to them to do a complaint based on disability, if you were discriminated against at the VA, or if you want to file it on the behalf of somebody else.
Yep.
Good.
I think so.
Can I read anything else before we go?
Oh, they're saying thank you. Let's see. Friends, Code said thanks for the updates.
Yeah, thanks, friends.
Both. Love you guys. That's about it.
All right.
It's
Thanks
good
for
having
stopping by.
conversations, of course.
And Dale Crystal Bear.